back to Clinkenbeard Strong. Now in the last video we left off with the truck having just a little bit of a problem, but that's okay because we got it fixed and we got it back home. Now I decided to make that into a separate video for two reasons. One, the trail fix was pretty interesting, and two, the home fix was a little bit on the technical side. So let's go ahead and play that now, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so here we are under the truck. This is probably one of the worst places you could possibly have a fuel line break on you, because there is not a lot of room up in here. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus for you guys. But that right there, that's the trail fix. That is a piece of my rear axle breather hose that I split like a loom and then packed it full of silicone, slipped it over the fuel line, and zip tied the ever living daylights out of it. Sorry about that. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut just the rubbed through section out of it for right now, and I'm going to see if I can get some type of compression fitting or a short piece of line that I can just flare and thread a new piece on there, mostly because this line goes all the way up over on the top of the transmission into the back of the fuel rail on the intake manifold, and I can't tell yet exactly which one this is, but see if I can get it to focus again. Kind of a bad place to try to film. I think this one actually goes all the way back to the fuel tank, so not exactly the easiest one to replace to do the whole thing. So either way, let's try to get to cutting in here. So what we're doing is I'm just trying to get this bent out enough to where I can get my tubing cutter put on it. Again, I apologize about the blurry part. It's kind of hard to do this all one-handed. I'm not entirely sure how to keep a camera up in the spot while I'm doing all of this. Okay, there we go. We got one end of it cut off. Kind of had to bend a bunch of stuff out of the way. I do see that this actually goes into a soft line, so if I have to replace it, it's going to be a little bit easier than I anticipated. I just didn't want to have to drop the tank or anything. But I'm still going to try to do like a compression fitting or a flared fitting or something in here. But either way, I'm going to work on this other side, get that messed up section out of there, and then figure out what I want to do. This is definitely not a fun spot to try to use a tool like this, but I guess it could be worse. There we go. There, right there, that's one genuine piece of hillbilly engineering, but fact of the matter is it held, and that's all that really matters. Getting off the trail sometimes, no matter how janky it is the most important thing. Okay, so after a little run to the parts store, this is what I have come up with for what should be a pretty decent fix. That is in fact a return line, so it's not going to have a lot of pressure behind it. So either way, this would actually handle a high pressure situation if need be. This is some replacement line for the section I had to cut out of there, and then these are compression fittings. They have a little brass bushing inside of them that when you squeeze it down it gets nice and tight. So should be able to fix that piece pretty easily. Okay, so step one is going to be trimming this part down to kind of the length that we need. So we're just going to use the old piece as a rough template. Got to cut the flare off of one side. I could have reflared this, and maybe that would have been a little bit more secure way of doing it, but I figured getting a flaring tool up into that section next to the transmission would have been a little bit difficult. The reason these kind of don't fit in there super good is this truck was originally an automatic truck, and I'm not a huge fan of automatics. So during the whole build of the solid axle swap and everything, I decided that I wanted to make it a 5-speed, and bought a donor truck and pulled all the parts out of it, except for the fuel lines, because I didn't think that they were going to be kind of that tight in there. But you know, can't think of everything, I guess. And then we are going to use this part to roughly gauge what we're looking at there. I think that ought to do. Open this guy back up. Slam her back on there. Slam her right in there. Tighten her down. So then all you do is pull your compression fittings apart. Make sure that guy's on there. Make sure that line's seated all the way down in the bottom of it. And then take your wrench and your wrench. Set that over there. Just make sure this guy's nice and snug. Then this kind of might be stuff that I might keep some compression fittings and chunks of line in the truck, just in case something like this ever were to happen again. I can do a little bit more solid repair out on the trail and not have to worry about booking it back home after the fact. Kind of worked out. We were close to the end of our day this trip anyway, so but I was thinking that might also be good to have a compression fitting or two that fit the brake lines on this as well. You just never know what can happen, and this truck does go on some pretty long trips every now and then. And hopefully I don't bump the camera too much while I'm trying to figure this guy out. This is going to be the fun part, I think. Just getting this guy tight. Okay. Seems to have worked halfway decent. Let's move on to the next part. If I can find the other end. There we are. I think I may have made that piece actually a little long, but that's okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and go fire the key off, prime that fuel pump, and see if this puppy leaks. Let's see if we can shower that phone with fuel too. I'd have to say that looks pretty sealed up. All right, good to go. Hey, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that portion of the video. Now, I think there's a little bit to talk about from that, and the biggest thing is that we need to remember to be prepared. The main reason we were able to get off the trail that night without leaving the truck there is that I make sure to bring a lot of tools with me, and I bring as many spare parts as I possibly can with me. One thing we need to remember is that we need to be as prepared as we possibly can. Tools, parts, water, extra food, and some warm clothes, and a little bit of knowledge are the key points. So, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you guys again soon.